Okay. First of all, I want to thank all of the people who helped sponsor today's Shiur Zera Shimshon Chaim Menachem Zera Shimshon. Le'iloi Nishmas. Tonight's Siyum and Shiur is Le'iloi Nishmas Hinda Bas Reb Shol Alei Shalom Mordechai ben Reb Avram Olav Shalom. Zivig Nachem V'Hagen to Rivka Tziro Bas Eidel Menucha and Rivka Riko Bas Batsheva. And Le'iloi Nishmas Esther Bas Reb Avram Olav Shalom and Rabbi ben Reb Chaim Yitzchak Olav Shalom. Yeshua Zubsuris Teres Lachenu Kol Beis Yisrael V'Shalom Al Kol Yisrael. Also, another sponsor, Le'iloi Nishmas Yehuda Leib ben Avram Mordechai Olav Shalom Yonim Echol ben Yehuda Leib Olav Shalom. For the Chayalim and Bluma Rivka Bas Abigail Charna. Another sponsor, the Schus of Klal Yisrael sponsor, another sponsor, Schus Parnosa for all of Klal Yisrael. And La Hatzlochas Esther Shilas Bas Lilian. Le'iloi Nishmas Briget Bas Avraham Alei Shalom and Chai Rivka Bas Avraham Alei Shalom. An anonymous sponsor says Hashem knows. The Brain Shalom base. Fine. Hashpaz Toives un Hagefen. Hatzlocha Gesund Parnosa Nachas. Meir ben Miriam Yaakov ben Mara Miriam Bas Braina. Goldele Bas Shaindel Gittel Daniel Avram ben Yehudis Moshe Mordechai ben Esther Riva. Le'iloi Nishmas Reb Meir ben Yaakov Olav Shalom. Moras Mara Bas Reb Shmuel Alei Shalom Chaim David ben Meir Olav Shalom Shmuel ben Reb Meir Olav Shalom Moshe ben Alter Mordechai Olav Shalom Moras Brana Bas Reb Simcha Alei Shalom Benachem ben Reb Shalom Olav Shalom and Moras Sheindel Gittel Bas Reb Zev Alei Shalom and a Zivug Hogun Bekarov a Shidduch for Shmuel ben Miriam and Rezel Bas Sorah. Tonight's special Monday night Shiur is Le'iloi Nishmas the Zera Shimshon, whose Yortzeit is today. We're going to be finishing now Mesechtes Baba Mitzia Yerushalmi. It's a Mesechta which my Chavrusa Reb Naftali and I started. When we started, it was the two of us, and since then, Reb Moshe has also come and joined us, Baruch Hashem, so we've doubled the command in size. And Baruch Hashem, we're now in the middle of Baba Basra, and there'll be a scene for Baba Basra, Bez Hashem too, weiter and weiter. So I want to thank all of those who sponsored. Everybody should have Hanoah. Ich bin sicher that the Zera Shimshon has Hanoah, that you're having Hanoah as well, that we're all having Hanoah. And this siyum that we're making now, as well as the limud of the sefer afterwards, we'll learn a special shtickle tonight on Misas Tzadikim, on what a tzaddik means to the dar. We'll learn a shiur on that. As Hashem Yisbarach, it should be a schus, hagepen, hatzlocha, gesund, parnosa, nachas, for all of those who are here in attendance and all of your families. Baruch Hashem, von ganz Klal Yisrael. The end of Mesechtes Baba Metzia says, the person built a wall in between neighbors, have a wall in between two reshuyos. The wall falls down, and we don't know who the space in the wall belongs to. Whose space is it? Rav Shmuel, Chadam mechzel lazeh v'mechzel lazeh. The space is 50-50. The Chadamar, kulay lazeh v'kulay lazeh. Each person has the ganza. My nafkamina asks Yerushalmi, what's the difference? My nafkamina, says the Gemara, Modza Mitzia. The person found the Mitzia. Man, the Omar, Mechza Lazeh, Mechza Lazeh. The one who says half and half means Mechza Vehelech Lazeh, Mechza Helech Lazeh. If a Mitzia is in between, found in that space, so then the Mitzia will belong 50-50 because it's Chetzi. And the one who says Kula Lazeh, Kula Lazeh, Hamoitzi Zoicha. Whoever finds it is Zoicha, because Kulei Lazev and Kulei Lazev. Hadron Allah Habayis V'Aliyah V'Salika Mesachtes Baba Metzia. I also, since I'm thanking, I also want to give a special thanks to a very special person who has a shaykhus to this place. His name is Zera Shimshon. He motivated us to learn Yerushalmi. When he made a siyum in Yerushalmi together with Rabbi Koren and all of Yerushalmi, I said to myself, if Laser finished Yerushalmi, what do I look like? So he's one. I have to give him credit where credit is due. He is a motivator. He's such a big person in so many different things. But I have a personal debt of gratitude for him and learning Yerushalmi. That's why we're doing this now. Hadronach Mesechtes B'Metzich v'Hadroch Alandat Mesech Metzich v'Daytach L'Mais Nashmach Mesech B'Metzich L'Mais Nashmach L'Olim B'Adem L'Mai Dama Osi. Hadroch Mesechtes B'Metzich v'Hadroch Alandat Mesech Metzich v'Daytach L'Mais Nashmach B'Metzich L'Mais Nashmach Osi. Hadroch Mesechtes B'Metzich v'Hadroch Alandat Mesech Metzich v'Daytach L'Mais Nashmach Mesech B'Metzich L'Mais Nashmach B'Adem L'Mai Osi. Yotzeit Fanech Adonai in the level same. Shedei Tayroschum in the same body Mazev Teman L'Olim Abba Chanin B'Papa Roma B'Papa Nachman B'Papa Chay B'Papa Boim B'Papa Rav B'Papa B'Papa Surch B'Papa Ad B'Papa B'Dor B'Papa. וההרב נועד דינוי לסטיבי סורוסו בפינפיר סמכה בי סול בנייה כולנו אנחנו וצאצואינו וצמכה בי סול כולנו יוידי שמך ולום דסורסך לשמה מואי ותחתן תסך כילוים הילי יהי לב ליבי תם בחוקך למען לא אבש אילם לא אשכח בקרבך כי במחי סוני ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקך אמן 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 סלוות מה דמכנך ואדוני ולבסיינו ששמתו חלקנו מיושבי בייס המדרש, ולא שמתו חלקנו מיושבי קרוניס. שאנו משקיעים מהם והם משקיעים. אנו משקיעים דבר תורה והם משקיעים דברים בתהילים. אנו המלם והם המלם. אנו המלם מקבלים שכר, הם המלם ואין מקבלים שכר. אנו רוצים והם רוצים. אנו רוצים לחיי עולם הבא והם רוצים בשחר, שניהם ואתם תורידים בשחר, עד שתורמים עליך צמם אני אבטח בו. יהי רצון לפניך, אדוני אלוהי, כשם שעזרתני לסיים, שעזרתנו לסיים מסכת במציע, כן תעזרנו להסר מסכת סוים לכם לסיימו, ללמוד וללמד לשמוע ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי סמכות תורתך באהבה. ובזכות כל התנועים והאמוראים ותמיד החכמים יעמוד לנו ולזרענו שלטון שאתם מפינו תזרענו בזרע זרענו עד עולם יזכיים בנו בסלך תנחויסך ושכבך תשמור לך והקיצויסך היא תשיחך כי יהיה בימך ושמח שויס חיים אוירך יום אבינו שמאלו שבקובוי אדוני אויז לימוי ייתן אדוני יבורך סמוי בשלום Skadavi skadash meidabo Omo duos de asaktos so aksoy mas so sagi os machayom in the carte du shola yem shafon kham bekavo bu mek bu khon na kham in arab la so bu khon in shamba ya as we have to do to see already at my phone the car she said ay for me khon bai ko basis so hell Pagolo is man coded in Ruam. Hey, Lord, God, Jamarabo, can the is the Rav, the Scheiners, and the Zoiner, or Fukanan, could remember to try the love in woman. Hey, Shamarabo, and Shabbat, Hampton Malay, I'll call you so heaven, woman. Oh, Session, I'm in my mouth, the Rach, Madias, Shamalay, no, I'll call you so heaven, woman. Say, yeah, you meant to. Oh, not so good. Yeah. Oh, that's all you saw. Oh, not so good. I know all you saw. Boy, I gonna have a seat where we learn L'chaim. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay. L'chaim. Shkoya. Shimshon Mazda L'chaim. Shimshon Chaim b'Menachem Mazda L'chaim. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. Good evening, my Rabbi Chaim. What a schus to be here. Before we begin, we're going to do Parshas Chukas, page Reish Chav Vav, letter Yud Aleph. Before we begin, I just want to reflect for a moment. What's Titman do? What are we doing here? What's Titman do? Ma nacho simple. I want to ask the Oilam. 10 years ago, if someone said to you, who is the Zera Shimshon? If someone said to you, who is the Zera Shimshon? How many people in this room could raise their hand and say, I know who the Zera Shimshon is? I had a story personally with Rabbi Avram Osban, Zechrono Levracha, who was just nifter a few days ago. I was called by Yissi Cherns, who lives over here in Forshay, an old chaver of mine. He said, we have on Friday mornings a Zera Shimshon Shiur. Our Maggid Shiur, Rabbi Pillar, is going away for a couple of days. Can you please give the Shiur? I said, what's a Zera Shimshon Shiur? What is that? He says, that's a very popular sefer. I said, I didn't hear about it. He says, but anyway, but if you need someone to give a shiur and it's an opportunity to teach Torah, fine, I'll do it. I walked in at 9:15 on an Erev Shabbos, I think it was Parshas V'Eschanan, and the person who greets me at the door is Rabbi Osband. It's a kind of a bracha. I'm holding the Zera Shimshon. He looks in my hand. He looks at the sacred Rabbi Osband. The Olam heard of Rabbi Osband, Rashiva of Riverdale. A grace of Talmid Chacham.
Yes.
He looks at the sefer and he says, "What is that?" Vasidus. In Yeshiva Shabbat, we didn't know what it said. We didn't know what a Zera Shimshon is. We didn't know what it is. Today, if you ask a Yid, what's the Zera Shimshon? I think today we're holding that most people know who the Zera Shimshon is. Hundreds of thousands, very vast. How many? I was just in a taxi. My family and I went away for a few days. The driver picked us up. On the windshield is a Zera Shimshon on his dashboard. He says, I learn it every day. He says, I don't always understand what it says, but I read it, and I've seen a lot of Yeshuas. My chavrusa said to me, I personally, one of my children got engaged a few years ago on Vav Elul, on the Yortzeit of the Zera Shimshon. So the promise that the Zera Shimshon had, which is that if I don't have any kids, he said, I passed away, he had one son, that son was nifter. So he said, if you learn my sefer, you're my kid. Vishinantam levanecha, ela talmidim. Vishinantam levanecha, those are your children. You teach somebody, they're your children. So Zera Shimshon said, if you learn my sefer, then I am going to be your tati. You're my child, and I'm your tati, and I will dich bezachvatin for there, and I'm going to help you. And that's Baruch Hashem, and it's unbelievable. So think about it. He was nifter 245 years ago. If he would have been so popular 245 years ago, like other Svarim that are popular, everybody would know who he is. The Teretz is kind of nishgewiss, or maybe a handful of people. Nobody knew. But today, he became a household name in Klal Yisrael. What does that say to us? What's steht in them? It shows that the kesher to Torah is nitzchi. The kesher to Torah and the kesher to the Rabbeinu Shalom is nitzchi. It's for Ivik. It's forever. And a person thinks, I'm doing in this world, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning it. I'm making a difference. Look at the Zera Shimshon story. Look how for a couple of 100 years, nobody knew who he was. And now look how we come here every Thursday night. Every Thursday night, there's a group, 30, 40 people, and the Oilam sits and learns. They come from Passaic, they come from here. They listen, they learn, and the Shiur goes to different places. And whose words are we learning? The Zera Shimshon's words. The Gemara says that tzaddikim are known as Yeshenei Offer. They're known as Yeshenei Offer. We say in our tefillah, mishluft in the ground. But when they say over the words of a tzaddik, then his lips start mumbling. His lips, when you say his words, his lips are moving. We have a schos here, all of you together. We have a schos milosnish the Zera Shimshon shlofim. We don't let him sleep. On Shabbos afternoon, when you want to go to sleep and the kinder are making noise, you say, kinder lo shlufu. And a person's in the ground, he doesn't want to sleep. We're zoicha that the Zera Shimshon shlufnish. He's not sleeping because we're keeping him awake, and that's a big schus for all of us. On a Yortzeit, state that the neshama comes back to the guf. The day of the Yortzeit is a day of the person moved from this world to the next world. It's a zman aliyas haneshama. Today, Baruch Hashem, all of you here who are eating and enjoying the food, and you made brachas, and if you washed, you're going to bench, and everything you did is today a su'udas siyum le'iloi nishmas le'zera shimshon. Your pashat being male his neshama. With that, let's learn some divrei Torah of the Shimshon Chaim ben Reb Nachman Mechuel. Page Reish Vav, letter Yud Aleph. The Gemara says, Tzadik Avad L'Doiroi Avad. A tzaddik who has left, a tzaddik who is lost. Tzaddik Avad L'Doiroi Avad. His dar has lost. Mashal Adam Shavle Margolis. Zuk the Gemara, it's a story. I'll give you a mashal. A person had a very precious diamond. It was in his pocket and he lost it. And he's looking everywhere. What happened to my diamond? Where is it? Where is my Margolios? Zok the Gemara. Let me ask you a question, says the Gemara. The diamond is lost to who? Is the diamond, when it's lost, still a diamond? Avada. A diamond doesn't stop being a diamond, whether it's in your pocket or whether it's not in your pocket. Who loses when the diamond is lost? Of course, only the owner. The diamond stays a diamond. The diamond doesn't change. The owner doesn't have it. Zuk the Gemara, when a tzaddik is nifter, the tzaddik is a diamond. He remains as complete and brilliant. He's as brilliant when he's with the door as when he's not with the door. Tzaddikim b'misosam nikran chay. The Gemara gives a pele de kamashal. The tzaddik, says the Gemara, b'chol mokom shehi margolias here. Wherever it is, it's still a diamond. The tzaddik, whether it's here or whether it's not here, that doesn't change. However, it loses, who loses? the Adam, the Bailam loses, the Dor loses, because the Dor doesn't have the Tzaddik anymore. Tzaddik Avad, Ledoiroi Avad. His Dor doesn't have him. B'chol mokem shehi ha'ilechas imargolis, v'hiloi of the elala ba'ilo. Azoi zog the Gemara. So the Tzaddik himself is a loss to his generation, not to him. Asks the Zera Shimshon, Kosha. The hamisos and shel tzadikim state in the Gemara Sanhedrin, rala hem v'rala oilam. It's also not good for them. Number one, how is it only bad for the door if the Gemara Sanhedrin says it's rala hem? The Gemara says, Misos and Shal Tzadikim is mechaperes. So if it's mechaperes, how could you say that the door lost something? On the contrary, when a tzaddik passes away, there was kapora. The tzaddik was mechaper for the door, so we got a kapora. Had a basic elementary question, Freik the Heilige Zera Shimshon. Is a tzaddik passing away good or bad? Mitzad echad state the doyrei avad, u'mitzad sheni state as misa tzadikim mechaperes. How do we reconcile these two steers in Chazal? The Yesh Loimar Zok the Zera Shimshon kedarkei b'kodesh, as he always learns with a shtick alumnus. Let's open up this question with another question. Shemitchila hirgish kushya ala pasuk. The pasuk in Yeshaya, Perek Nun Zayin, which he quotes over here, I'll give you the full pasuk. Perek Nun Zayin pasuk Aleph. Hatzadik avod ve'ein ish som alei. A tzaddik is lost and nobody ein ish som alei. Unkeiner, nobody feels it. Nobody takes it to heart. Ve'anshe chesed de'esofin. Anshe Chesed, people who are Balei Chesed, gather together. But Be'ein Maven, which means Zaypashtayinish, they don't understand. Ki mipnei horo'on nesef hatzadik. Because of the bad, has the tzaddik been taken away. This is a pasuk in Yeshaya, Perek Nun Zayin, pasuk Aleph. Tzaddik obod ve'ein ish som alei. Says the Zera Shimshon, Eich mekoinen al tzoros ha'olam levisha tzaddik ovad. So the Novi says that when a tzaddik passes away, it's a terrible thing. But doesn't the Gemara in Yuma say, Ein tzaddik nifter ba'olam ad sheloi noila tzaddik acher? A tzaddik goes away, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of Klal Yisrael. Ad shenivra tzaddik kemoisoi. So the Zera Shimshon asked the kasha about how could you say that the tzaddik is a margolis when it says it's bad, and he said, let me answer that as we often do with nocha kasha. Is a tzaddik being nifter good or bad? On the one hand, it's a kapara. On the other hand, it's l'chayra bad. But if it's a kapara, so it's not that. Unoch tzu, as he's asking. But when a tzaddik is nifter, kiptoch hatzvayta tzaddik. So if another tzaddik is there, so what's so terrible? Says the Zera Shimshon a few terutzim. A practical teretz v'tiretz. It's true that when a tzaddik passes away, a new tzaddik comes, but it does take a little while for that tzaddik. He's just born. It takes a little while for him to grow up and be a tzaddik. There's a potential at tzaddik. He's a tzaddik in the making. So the next generation will enjoy him. But what about the generation that just lost that tzaddik? That's the first teretz, says the Zera Shimshon. Let's see it inside. Again, Zayne Heilige Werk, like we said before, ich will ihm nicht losen schlufen. We don't want to let the Zera Shimshon sleep. We want to say his words. We'll keep him awake. Zuk the Zera Shimshon. V'tiritz l'doirei ovid apapi shener l'tzadik acher adaynu kotten. He's still small. He'll only be able to teach the next generation. But it's mashmali, his generation loses. L'chayra, the whole world loses. L'chayra tzadikim ra'alo olam v'ra'alahem nami shekol oichim oisifim yamim. L'chayra, they would have more mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. Wouldn't they be able to do more? So I understand why you're telling me that even though the tzaddik is going to have another tzaddik replacement, it's going to take a while. But you're saying the door is no good. For the ganze Welt is nicht good, and for the tzaddik is also no good. Zuk the Zera Shimshon azon. Let me explain, says the Zera Shimshon. If you ask a tzaddik, he wants the chaparayim. Shteit in Chazal, when the neshama comes to this world, lechatchila doesn't want to come. It doesn't want to come. What does it have to come down to this world? But once it's here, it doesn't want to leave. My son, Rabbi Berger, said to my son, when you come to Falsburg, in English, it means you cry when you come, because it's so hard to get used to being here. But after you get used to it, you cry when you go away. Then you don't want to leave. You cry when you come. The neshama is forced to come into this world. He doesn't want to come into this world. The baby's crying when the neshama comes in. Because once the neshama was here and it did, and it did mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim, veintus nachamo. Now it's crying because I'm already here already, and I'm hopping around all the mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim. He's not going to be able to anymore. But to say that the tzaddik is missing something, honestly, he's not missing anything. Shaharei Hatzadik Kvar Hu Sholem Mikol Mokem. A tzaddik who's lived his life the way the Rebbeinu Shalom wants him to is v'lo yovad klum kimoi margolius mamish, like a diamond. A person who lives his life, lomer zogi, right? A person wasn't able to do everything he wants to do. Aber Kodesh Baruch Hu was mitzvah machshavatay v'lamaisa. I want to remind the Olam, said it over many years ago, a Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Kisisa. The Medrash says like this: Toiv shnas ha'oived im ma'at im harbe. Toiv shnas, the years of work are good, whether it's a little bit or whether it's a lot. Says the Medrash Tanchuma, Parshas Kisisa. There were two workers. One worker who worked for the king till he was 70 years old. He started working at the age of 20 and he worked till the age of 70. 50 years, and then he retired. And there was another worker who worked for the king, started at the age of 20, and right after he started, he passed away and was nifter. A person would think, Nebuch, such a person, he mamish was nifter at such a young age. He had so much to accomplish. Nebuch ezavek. Zok the Medrash Tanchuma. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is metayil with him and says, from my perspective, I know you would have worked for 50 years like your chaver. I know that you would have been oisik b'tayr b'maisim tayr. For me, there's no difference between the 70-year-old and the 20-year-old, because it's I who took you away. Im ma'at, im harbe. If it's a little bit or if it's latzinish to kanaf gemina. You know why? About the Rebbeinu Shalom zog ich reis, that a person who's an oivid, how much a person accomplishes, that's already up to the Rebbeinu Shalom. But the Yortzeit, and that's the words of the Zera Shimshon. Mishum de machshava taiva Kadosh Baruch Hu mitzaref lamaisa. K'moshe mitzina b'Moshe Rabbeinu. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, if I know that your intentions were to do and to learn and do out, I'm going to consider it. Maila ani alecha schaki lekayamta kol hamitzvos hatzluyos ba'aretz abba bikeinu yikoshav lamus. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to die because he wanted to do a tachlis of Rakopon. The Berger said, don't worry, you're not losing anything. Your falir is garnished. You're not losing anything. I'm considering it like you did it. Who adin at tzaddik? Aber soif. Let's understand the pasuk. Tzaddik ovad. That tzaddik is lost. Ve'ein ish sam alei. And people don't realize. If you're telling me now that the people who really lose out is the Adon, what does it mean, Ein Ish? What do you mean they don't know? They're the ones who are losing out. And then it says, Anshe Chesed Ne'esofim, which means that they do know, because they're called Anshe Chesed. Asks the Zera Shimshon, how do these two psukim miskasher one to the other? And listen to the Yisod he says. Yesh Loimar. The Zera Shimshon Zok Da Gracie Yisod. I'm skipping to the teretz. Bottom of the page Reish Chav Zayin. Shemisas tzadikim efsher tia ba'achas m'shloisha sivos. There are three different reasons, possible reasons of why a tzaddik is nifter. Let's go through them one by one. Number one, oy shemeis ba'avoin hador. He was a tzaddik. He should have lived. Why was he nifter? The nation, the dar, the generation wasn't zoichet to have him. The avoin hadar, because of that, he's nifter. One. Two, kvar higi hazman, could be nothing to do with the dar. Nothing to do with the dar. It's his time. Gilek Baruch Hashem, 99 years old. But Moshe Wolfson, Zechariah Levracha, he was already come out 100 years old. The Mishnah says, Meya, Ben Meya is over bottle, as I state in the Mishnah. A person's lifespan is considered, we said in the Maral Shir, like the Heichal. The Gemara just had, the Heichal is compared to a person, the Heichal is 100. Amos says the Maral, a person's years, that's why the Mishnah stops at 100. You can ask me a kasha, you give a bracha that's 120, sa kasha. We'll have to answer. But I'll go upon him, the Mishnah stops at 100. Okay? Now, there's sometimes a person is nifter b'avayin hador. There's sometimes a person's nifter higi hazman. Oi, she'HaKadosh Baruch Hu maktim l'salkoi ad shu tzadik k'dei shechas v'shalom la'yibol b'chet. The Berger has cheshbonis. Sometimes a tzaddik is on a good streak, but there's something that Hilula could become a challenge. The Berger does him a toiv and takes him away before Hilula anything goes wrong. Hafula fellow. The Zera Shimshon Zok, there's Megalit songs. He doesn't say where he gets it from, but he says there are three different ways a person can pass away. A tzaddik. Zman, avoin hador, or the Berger does him a chesed that before evet farfol cholila, he should go away as a winner. Kidei shechas v'sham la'yipo b'chet u'ma'ato. Tzaddik ovad. Let's learn the pshat. Tzaddik ovad. Ve'ein ish som elei. What does it mean, ve'ein ish som elei? What do the people say after the tzaddik passed away? Shemeis. Maybe it was his time. Nothing to do with us. We didn't do it. Ein ish som alev shemeis ba'avoina. Ela she'imrim shemeis avishigeh zmanoi. Oish salkai koidem zman letoiv loy. The Berger did him a favor. Tamir, because of me, he should be nifter. Why did you say that? The av anshe chesed yisazu lasmi mechesed behesped. Even if they're going to make him a hesped, and they'll talk about how great he was. There'll be anshe chesed azat tzaddik azat amet chocham v'chulei v'chulei. Aber nothing to do with us. As ve'einem oisim tshuva. They don't think about it. That's what the pasuk says. They get together to be maspid. But you have skin in the game. He's your Rosh Hashiva. He's your Gadol. He's shaykh to you. Sha'af If you gave good espedim, the hesped will protect you. Because a bad could come. And here's the bottom line. Shaharei, says the Zera Shimshon, Ein misas tzadike mechaperes ela im tshuva. There's a key. If a Klal Yisrael takes it to heart and changes because of the tzaddik that passed away, then his ptira was a zchus for the dar, and there was tshuva. There was tshuva, and there was a kapara, and Klal Yisrael is zoicha. But if Hilula, we don't take it to heart, and we just say, it was his time, then we lose an opportunity. We have an opportunity now. We have an opportunity. The Olam knows what I'm talking about, and if you don't, let me share. 4 or 5 days ago, one of the superstar Rosh Hashivas in America passed away. Rabbi Ozban, Zechron Levracha, who was 76 years old. You know what happened? He wasn't nifter during Bein Zman. He started the Zman with his yeshiva, Das Hatelze yeshiva, a yeshiva where Elul had a lot of passion to it. Elul intels igevena heilig zman. Yeah, you know when they make fun of those Litvaks and say Elul, that's the place. This was the place. This was that kind of place. Elul was a very serious place. Mir Lachem, but they take it very serious. I lived there for many years. It was very serious, but in a healthy way. Rev Osband started the Zman. He gave Shiur. Angefangen in dem Jahr. And he was nifter. After he gave Shiur, went into the room, was learning. I spoke to one of his Talmidim. He said he can shtel zechors for sure. He was learning in the room. Somebody came in to see him at 5 o'clock, spoke to him for a while, left. The next time that came in, found that he had already passed on. If there's something called misas neshika, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives a kush, gives a kiss. If you would ask Rabbi Osbad, ein oimen of ne'ames ala dvar shalmeis. I once heard from Yaakov Galinsky. If you ask the mace if he's there, vos would gesagt? He would say, I was nifter, I started this man, I learned with the yeshiva. And they said over his levaya that he had learned with his chavrusa, I think it was his son. He told his son, I have a hafla of fellow pshat and testifis. In the next year, I'm going to say it over. That next year, we're going to have to wait for Mashiach to come for Tchias HaMeisa. But he was ready to say over a Groise Chiddush. He had such a simchas ha-Torah. Adam ki yamos ba'oil. Mamish ba'oil shel Torah. And Rav Osban was such an energetic, such an exciting, such a Geshmak Rosh Hashiva. I heard today that one of his Talmidim made a siyum Shas, Bavli, and Yerushalmi. He attended the siyum, and 4 days ago, he wrote a letter, a 4-page letter to that Talmud. The Talmud got in the mail today. That means gehalten mitten den mechazik Talmud. As maze omer man, what does that say to us? What does that say to us? If we want to have a shaykhis, that his misa should be mechaper for the dar, that means that we have to take the opportunity, kol echad ve'echad, every single one of us, to better ourselves, one way or another. To better ourselves, probably in Limud HaTorah. Probably because that's what he stood for. That means when you come to a shiur, you have a phone. I don't have my phone on me. It's in the car. Sinishda, it's in the car. Maybe that's what you should do. By davening, put it away. It's not on you. If a person is makabel upon himself, he accepts a bisala to do a little bit of tshuva, a little bit better, it goes such a long way. And then the ptira of the tzaddik becomes mechuber to you. You make his ptira into an ilui neshama. The way we do it, the Zera Shimshon Baruch Hashem every single week. The way we do that. Rabbi Chaim, we have an opportunity. Klal Yisrael lost a Rosh Hashiva who shaped the United States of America in Torah. His yeshiva was l'shem luciferis. It was like they call it here in America, it was a Cadillac of a yeshiva. It was a place where the people learned Torah with pride. It was a place that people learned with a geschmack. They were proud to be Riverdale Talmidim. They were proud to be Talmidim of Reb Osvan. They were proud to be associated to the Rosh Yeshiva. So even all of us who didn't learn in his yeshiva and didn't have a direct Scheiners, aber given a tata von Dor. He was a tati of the Dor, of so many Talmidim. So let us take this opportunity. It's in Mitni, who's just buried in Eretz Yisrael. The family just came back now and are sitting Shiva over here in America. Let's take this opportunity, the opportunity of this Shiur, the Zera Shimshon now, and take this opportunity to be Maila, his neshama, and to have a kapora for ourselves and our families. So we should taka b'zoicha be'ezus Hashem. Tichle shana v'kirula seha. V'teichel shana be'ezus Hashem anayah yo'u b'chaseha.